Hey guys, Awkward Todd here, aka Rock Hard Productions, and I was lucky enough to go to QuakeCon, and I saw a really interesting film that I think you guys should know about if you guys haven't heard about it already. I'm talking about FRAG, which is a documentary about pro gaming, as you would probably guess from the title. And aside from watching Unaware Steve's crazy antics with the Screw Attack crew, this is probably the second best thing that happened at QuakeCon. So it starts off with a dictionary definition of what the word frag means, and then it goes into this cool montage of cool music, clips, and dialogue from the interviewees. And this basically tells you what the film is about. Basically tells you this film is about what is a pro gamer, how do you become a pro gamer, the triumphs of a pro gamer, the struggles of a pro gamer, and how pro gaming tournaments, pro gamers, and the corporations that run the pro gamers really do affect the gaming market and the gaming world. And this is a great way to open it up because it really does give a good thesis of what the entire film's about, so people know what it's about, and they helps bring them in even better. And plus the music helps too. I mean, the music was really pumped up, it was really loud, and good high point to start off on the film. Now the next part is greatness, because this makes it reach that other level to where not only do I like it, but my mom and dad like it. They give a history of what competitive gaming was and what it has become. Starting off with basically a King of Kong chasing Ghost rehash of the 1980s until the crash in 1984. And then it gives this new idea, which would be a good idea for a documentary. It's all like documentaries in nutshells of how it affected the competitive gaming markets with Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake. And then from there it goes on to how this helps spawn all the different gaming leagues and all the different ways for people to become pro gamers and get the prize money and the sponsorship to make it a living. And as I said before, this is total greatness because this really does allow the film to apply to everyone. So the documentary can't really be about a specific subject matter that you find more interesting than something else. It's not like, oh, it's about this, I'm going to watch it because I like that. No, you can cover it basically with anybody because it's a really interesting subject. So the interviews are mostly of game journalists, some other fun surprises that I won't spoil, and then of course you have Fatality in there. And from there, it kind of trickles down to all these other people that it's interesting enough. In the Q&A, he mentioned that they actually went to Fatality first, and then he let them in on all these other people, and that's how all these other pro gamers came to be noticed in the film. Which is great because you get the great story of Lost Cause, who is really this struggling pro gamer who's really good, but has a lot of trouble getting breaks, or at least that's how they present it in the film. So as I said before, you hear a lot of great stories, and it really gives you in on what these people are thinking, what they have to go through in order to be the best, what they have to do in order to get the money to pay their rent or keep on playing in tournaments, all the stuff they have to do and struggle to go through. But aside from all these aspects, another thing they cover are the corporation sponsors and the leagues that allow the gamers to play in tournaments or be sponsored and get their money so they can make this a living. And from this they show a lot of problems that they have with the companies, which sort of brings out it sort of brings out the unexpected dark side of the film, because this film in a way is actually quite dark. Most people think, hey, pro gaming sounds fun, but there's a lot of aspects of it that are quite dark and aren't for most people, so it's definitely good that they bring it out there, and it definitely opens it up in a different fashion. The one thing though, that this always leads to the antagonizing of something, and what I mean is sort of like similar to Bowling for Columbine. They targeted Charlton Heston and they made him the target of gun control, and the same thing's done here, but like Bowling for Columbine, it is done well to where he is just a figurehead you can look to, so you can reference him or get more info on him, or more humanize it in a way, which it's a film, so they're allowed to do that. And I'm really glad they pulled it off this way and were able to do it. So you get it. You get that the guy may not be that great or all he's cracked up to be. They don't make him seem like Satan or anything worse, like they did in God Forsaken. God for freaking Saken. Fahrenheit 9/11. Okay, away from politics. So overall, the film is a really, really interesting and strong film. It's a slightly darker than you may think, but overall will get your mind going about what this all means. And it's great because it presents pro gaming in a way that it doesn't say, oh, it's not all that cracked up to be, or oh, it's not the greatest thing in the world. It's not like unbelievable. It just lets you know that this is a really different world. It's a really different world that these people live in, and I think it did an amazing job. I recommend this film to hardcore gamers, to movie fans, people who love documentaries, to casual movie fans, to really anybody, because they do such a good job of presenting what really a pro gamer is. And I think this will help people understand what it takes to be a pro gamer and the things that you have to go through, and maybe give it a little bit more respect, which I think is a great thing. So, two things I like to cover before I go is that, one, I don't know the names of them, but the people who did do the effects in the film, the animation and all that type of stuff, really deserve props because they did a phenomenal job. The interesting thing about this film is that they actually do it different than like a normal, you film it and then you have some pictures and stuff like that moving in the background as your visual aid, which I will not completely denounce because Stacy Peralta did an amazing job with that in a lot of his films. But regardless, what they do is they actually take original artwork and original animations and use it in a lot of that filler. That thing where like the girl's talking and then you see this picture, but instead of a picture you see like Asian samurai film thing. I don't know how to describe it. They did a really good job on it, and it's great because it works in that Richard Linklater Waking Life effect, to where it's like, okay, you can either listen to what she's saying and enjoy it and ignore the screen because the screen bugs you, or if you don't like what she's saying, you can enjoy what you're seeing, or you can enjoy both. So you have a lot of choices in that, and it's great. And then I also want to say that the guys who made this film, let's see if I can say their names right, Logan Summy and Jude Saul, I saw them, this is one of the first people I actually saw when I went to QuakeCon. This was my first QuakeCon this year, and I got the first copy of the DVD, unbeknownst to me. I mean, I kind of walked in and I thought that they were just promoting their film. I was like, cool, well, I'll get it because I really wanted to watch it anyway. So I got the DVD, didn't know they were going to show it at QuakeCon. They're like, oh, you bought the first DVD. Here, let's take a picture of you. It's like, cool. It's like, it's awesome that way that they work, and they seem like really nice guys who are also really big gamers. So, again, this film will appeal to a lot of people, and it was a really good film. I just want to get this review out quick. Sorry if it's kind of choppy, but I want to let people know that, you can see this film, you can go and buy it on their site, and it's a really good film. You should check it out. Again, this has been Rock Hard Productions, aka Awkward Todd. I'm out.